Right. Hi, it's Warren here from Rust Sports, and we are at the 2020 Husqvarna launch in the north of Finland. Um, Everybody that reads the magazine and watches our videos will know that I am a huge Husqvarna fan. Most of my private bikes are Huskies, and I have just finished off a project on my long-term FE350. So coming here was an exciting prospect for me because the changes to these bikes have been and are quite significant. Husky have made about a 60% change to the previous platform on their bikes. And without getting to a massive amount of technical detail here, I want to share with you more about the ergonomics and the ride and the feel of the bike. So there were a couple of things that niggled me on the old bikes, and that was the suspension, the back suspension. If you changed a bladder system, the canister would sit right on the pipe on the 4 strokes. So I have my 350, and the back suspension has been changed quite significantly on these Huskies. So they've gone to the pull rod has gone to a sort of more of a motocross setup on the linkage, and that has actually moved the canister and changed the position of the back shock quite considerably. So really like the styling on the bikes. The front end's been narrowed out a little bit, and just like the KTM's, the radiators have been lowered by 12 millimeters, giving the bike a much tighter feel around the front end. So when you're going to corners and you're lifting your leg, there is just a more planted feel on the bikes. So the terrain up here in Finland has been a really good mix of sand and rock and technical riding and sand whoops. So what sprung to mind for me is really you've got to choose the model that you buy in these ranges to suit the terrain that you ride. So I have come back from the KTM launch, and I said to you the 350 was my favorite bike of the day out there. It was not my favorite bike of the day here at all, and in fact the surprise standout for me in the tight terrain was the 150i, which I thought was absolutely brilliant. The low end power on that 150 was fabulous. It was just so easy to ride, track through the single track, and the whoops really well, and it did not lack for low end grunt even when we were going up through the rocks. So that was a big surprise for the day. My second favorite bike for the day was actually the FE250, and I just felt that the power around this type of terrain was much more suitable than the FE350. I didn't get on with the FE350 today at all. So overall, as I said with the KTM launch, Husky have really put a lot of design work and changes into these new models. And for all those people that always said same bike, different colors, that probably this year is so far from the truth. The difference between the KTM and the Husqvarna'S is vast. So you are either firmly in the KTM camp or firmly in the Husky camp. The ergonomics on this bike took a while to get used to, and I think because I've been riding the 17 to 19 bikes, Huskies, for so long, and I'm used to riding those. These ergonomic changes took me a while, sort of half the day, to get used to. I'm over 6 foot, so you get on these bikes, the seat has been lowered because of the change in frame geometry by about 10 mils in the front and about 20 in the back, and it's exceptionally noticeable. Now this is great if you're riding technical riding or extreme riding, or you're vertically challenged, but for some of the taller riders, I've had a chat with one or two of the other boys out there, and I would definitely be putting a high seat back on this bike, just to lift and open the cockpit out a little bit for my size. But for the shorter guys, that is a really nice bit. The one thing that I found in the terrain that we were riding out here is that I had to slow the rebound down quite a bit because the bike was hopping around a little bit, and at the moment that I did that, it actually improved the handling of the bike on the front end, and made the bike a little bit less twitchy. So I was started running a stock sort of 15-15, and I landed up winding in the the rebound to about 9 and running the compression at about 13, and that did make a significant difference to the bike. In terms of power and power delivery on the bikes right across the board, I liked all of the bikes. Again, on the 4-stroke side, I preferred the 500 to the 450, and I preferred the 250 to the 350. The 300, that would be my pick of the 2 strokes on Husqvarna.